Hello YouTube, I got a very good question on email. Many people are saying you need many stones to sharpen. The question was pretty easy. Can you jump from a very coarse, this is a 300 grit, to a very fine, that's a 4000? Yes, you can. And I love these questions because people are, well, the finish won't be as nice, blah blah blah. Well, are you using the knife or are you looking at it? So I'm gonna go straight to a 300 grit. This is the GNS 300, one of my all-time favorite stones. Would love to try the rest of these stones, but I can't afford them. So just wetting it. I'm gonna sharpen the hardest knife to sharpen, just to prove a point. That's my magnacut. It's 64 HRC and a pain in the ass to sharpen because it's so hard, but it's thin. Dragging off the edge. That's about it. Did I press film? Yeah. Let's show it dull first. That's all. I'm not gonna thin or anything. I'm also gonna do very low, pretty much. As I always say to people, if you are confused about the angles, I'm not gonna do the edge because I could chip it. So imagine this is 90. Half that, about 45. Half that, about 22. So we do 90, 45, that's about 22. And I'm halving that again, maybe less. I'm doing around maybe 5 to 6 degrees sharpening here. Just, and that's gonna be the main profile. And I'm gonna do the micro bevel at around 10 or 12. I forgot to show you how ridiculously thin this knife from Aaron is. This is the first knife he made me that is utterly perfect. Can you see? It's pretty thin. Again, that's 5, 6 degrees, maybe 4 even. It's basically as low as it's nearly scraping the blade profile. Just thinning out the part behind the bevel and rising slowly and making the edge 10 to 12. I'm blending the edge into the entire profile of the knife. So I'm slowly rising as I'm sharpening. And these are my favorite knife, this and the two I got from Patrick Alvik. They are a joy to sharpen because they are so thin. I'm nearing a burr already. Yes, you can jump straight to this, to a 40,000. You don't even need to go finer than a 300 grit. I'm gonna show you. I get a pretty good edge straight out of this stone. That will suit 99% of guys. Got the burr at the heel, at the mid part. Now I'm at 10 or 12. And with this steel, this stone is probably more like a 600, 800 grit. Because the knife steel is so hard. Just making a few long passes to make the edge more uniform. That's a burr. Do the same on the other side, starting at 5-6 degrees. People are saying that's way too low. Well, I've never had this ship. I can show you, hard plastic cutting boards. Never had any edge damage. I've even scraped bones by accidents, etc. I use my knife pretty hard on those cutting boards. This is actually thinning out to already thin edge, and I'm moving slowly up to 10-12 degrees. Magnacut is a fantastic steel. I'm moving my body like this, moving my body, stepping. It's sort of a dance. I'm using all my body when sharpening and not so much my hands. I think is it maybe a little up on the very tip. Got a burr already. As I said, thin knives, just sharpen. Nice. I'm gonna see, lightening the pressure, how nice of edge I can get off this. Washing off the stone. Washing off the knife, just because any big loose particles can screw up the edge. Damn, I touched the edge. Did I cut myself? Just deburring. Basically kissing the stone. And using light pressure you can finish on a somewhat coarse stone. It's all about feeling. Sharpening is more about technique and pressure than the tools. If you have a stone that cuts the metal, you don't need 10 stones or 3 or 4. You can make do with one. I always say to people, get a good coarse stone and a good medium. Or if you can afford one, get a good medium. Medium would be 600 to 1000 grit. No fancy strops. I'm gonna strop on the kitchen towel. Again, I've shown this 1000 times that I don't cut myself. How many minutes were that? They're at 10 minutes. Magazine paper. Oh. I love magnacut. It's, yeah. Also the knives from Patrick. Some steels, they sharpen themselves. It's ridiculously easy. I get happy. Does it push cut? Well, I'm gonna see it. I said no strop. Plain old jeans that I cut, threading that onto my arm, stropping on that. That's my strop. Everybody get a pair of jeans lying around. If you don't buy the cheapest jeans at a pawn store or something, used place, etc. Cut off one of its legs, you get a strap. Booyah, bitches. That's off a 300 stone. I haven't touched the 4000 yet. And people say, oh, you need to go to a 3000 or 4000 or 5000. No, learn to sharpen. That's what you need to do. If you can't get it sharp, I'm not speaking about 60 grits or like that. But if your knife can't push cut of anything, like a 220, 300, you need to learn to sharpen. I highly believe that. If you can't push cut like I just did of a 300 grit, then you need to learn to sharpen. It's not the stone, it's you. Now I'm gonna just polish out the compound bevel, and I'm gonna show you what I mean with the compound bevel. Some call it convex, but it's not that either, because it's not a perfect convex. And I mean compound bevel. Imagine a wedge. Let's say this is 20-ish. That's normal. Then the edge goes here and it goes into the main profile, like you see on many knives. None of my knives are like that, so I can't show it. But imagine here you see a distinct bevel. You can't on my knives. Even this 300 edge is blended. You can't see where it starts or ends. But if I did a straight 20, that would be it. I start at, let's say, 5. Then I go to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Slowly increasing, making it slope towards the edge. That's an easy way of doing it. Just slowly increasing. Start low, sharpen a bit, go a tiny bit higher, sharpen a bit, tiny bit higher, sharpen a bit, tiny bit higher, until you reach the edge. Then you are thinning, blending the profile, making it slightly convex, and optimizing the knife every time. And people saying it takes time, I spent 10 minutes on this. Stop being lazy. I could knock out the edge in half that time, probably 1 minute if I just did edge. Just refreshing the stone. This Kitayama 4K, I love it, but it loads like nobody's business. This is a stone that could be a little more friable actually. Just a tiny bit more friable. Not softer, but friable, meaning it releases grit just a tiny bit more. And again, I showed you the edge is already push cutting of 300 stone, so it doesn't need this. Not at all. I'm actually gonna try something just for fun. I haven't touched the 4000 stone yet, but let's have fun. Yeah, it's in view the entire. Let's check. Is that towel in view? Yeah. It's hard to see because I have the lens there, so I need to step behind and check. Tall as magazine paper. I highly doubt it will do that tall. Is it in view there? Let's flip you just a tiny bit up there. Again, no leather strap, no fancy strap, just plain denim. Just stropping on that. And I'm stropping a little bit higher. Putting the pants away. Just check the height of that. That's a tall paper. Let's see before I go to the 4000. It's basically grumbled. But yeah, that proves my point. It's not the stone, it's the user. It's maybe sometimes the steel. So again, starting extremely low. And basically there, just imagine the knife is flat. Then the entire here will make contact. I'm just lifting it basically so it's the lower part of the edge that makes contact. And you see that the tip is always polished because I always thin the tip. Can you see how thin that is? So again, is the stone in view now since I moved the camera? Yeah. Starting 5, 6, oh that's lower, 2-3 degrees now, just blending out the shoulders. I'm not spending much time here. It's not about getting a nice finish, it's just making it a little nicer. Now I'm moving sides because the edge is so thin I don't want to bend it. I'm using literally no pressure. At all. Moving up just a few degrees. Now I'm moving towards the edge. You can hear it. Not the edge. The edge. It's more higher pitched. Not the edge. Oh, and yeah, it gets so sticky, this stone. It's a dangerous stone because it gets so damn sticky. It's like a suction cup. Moving to the edge. Doing the edge. And remember, the camera is way up high. I'm sharpening down here. The camera is up there in height and looking down. So it seems like I'm holding a higher angle. It looks probably like I'm at 20 degrees. 20. Trust me, I'm not. It's just these final strokes I'm very careful about. Now you've seen the push cutting, so I'm not bothering about doing that again. And that's a full sharpening from completely dull with a little thinning to very sharp in 20 minutes. Again, just removing and flattening the stone. Basic stone maintenance. There, that's all it took. If you do that every time, you rarely needs to use a diamond plate or something to flatten it. It's all about maintaining. Always when I sharpen, I drag off the edge because that's dressed metal, so you're removing metal fatigue. Does it affect the height of the knife? Barely. Yeah. A knife will last 2-3 lifetimes by a normal chef. So I got an itch in my nose. I hope I haven't got the best light, but I hope you can see. Can you see? It's hard, but there's no distinction between the edge and the blade profile because I blend it into the knife. I found that gives extreme performance benefits, more durability, more longer life. And if, of course, thin is king. You can see it's slightly thinner now. Doing 3 fingers, I can barely touch that. That's scary. Taking out my super strop. Yes, this is a super strop. It's basically the one strop you need. I found this better than leather because it doesn't slick the edge as much. I'm stropping basically nearly flat and making my hand curve. If you're afraid to cut yourself, then put that pants around anything. Not leather, but a wooden block or something. But I've done this, I can watch the camera and do this without watching. I know where the knife is at all times. There, putting my pants away. Tip. Doing curlicues. Sharp knife. Thank you for watching. I love it if you subscribe. I love it if you share the channel, press a like and leave a comment. Thank you. Bye.